All right, here we go. Sunday night Knicks. CP from KnicksFanTV. My man CK2K in the building. Salute to all the Knicks fans out there once again. Battle of New York. Act 2 goes to the Brooklyn Nets. Knicks lose 103-101. CK, what'd you see out there, man? What happened tonight, bro?
The same thing we've been seeing for the past 3 games. Absolutely nothing. Oh my God. It's just mistake after mistake, sloppy play after sloppy play, like fake comebacks after fake comebacks.
Another fake comeback for sure, man.
Oh man, a lot. I saw a lot. How are you feeling about the game, bro?
Just disappointed once again. You know, this was a team that was missing 3 of their top dogs. Give credit where credit is due. Spencer Dinwiddie came in. He did what he had to do. Frank gave it his all in terms of his defense, but Dinwiddie was unstoppable tonight, man. There was only so much you could do. I mean, he had his way with Frank, with the team, and he willed his team to victory, shorthanded at all.
Yeah, I was saying that, like, and people were trying to come back. And I'm a Frank guy. I mean, if you're not a Frank guy by now, I don't know what's wrong with you. But people were coming at me when I was saying that, you know, out of all the point guards, elite or not, Spencer Dinwiddie always finds a way to just get to the bucket, get his shots off. And they could be the worst looking shot, but he gets them in every single time against us. And you can hate him or love him.
Facts.
But he gave it to us tonight.
Hey, there's a reason he climbed his way. He grinded his way here. You know what I mean? He deserves it. But on the Knicks end, listen, we had a chance to get back into this game and win it. We had some late game heroics by Marcus Morris with about 2 minutes left. Hits about 2 back-to-back threes. We get Ellington with another 3. That puts us down 1 with a minute left. And come back on the other end, and we give up a driving layup to Joe Harris over 3 Knicks. And you just can't have that happen, man. You cannot have that happen to lose the game, and that was all she wrote, man.
Especially when the main thing that we've been hearing for the past few weeks is that our goal is to protect the paint. And look, if we gonna be giving up as many threes as we give up, we damn sure cannot be having that layup happening against us in a moment like that. And it's just, like I say, it's just frustrations after frustrations. We can say it's the coach, we can say whoever it is, but at the same time, the players just look sloppy to him. It's just another rough one.
Sloppy. How about free throw? How about the free throw differential? 27 for 34 for the Nets tonight. 9 of 16 for the Knicks tonight. 56% from the charity stripe. CK, when you're a team that struggles as much as we do on the offensive end, and we'll definitely get to that, you gotta convert from the stripe, man. I mean, just the ineptitude on offense, the ineptitude at the line, and the spotty defense. It's a recipe for a bad team. This is why they're 4-13 right now.
100%. And not only make them, we have to get there.
Gotta get there.
Like you said, we only shot 16 free throws.
Facts.
James Harden shoots 16 free throws by himself, night in, night out.
Like missed RJ tonight in that regard.
Yeah, I mean, we could talk about RJ making and missing his free throws, but he's one of the only guys that gets the line. Now, mind you, hate or dislike Julius Randle, for those who do, he's one of the few that gets to the line when he wants to. Not tonight's not one of those nights,
right?
But it's just like we got to go towards the basket because we settle for these crazy shots. And unless your name is Marcus Morris, or I'll even give Ellington the edge tonight.
Yeah,
like we need to be getting to the basket, and we're just giving up points at the paint at the same time. So
giving up too many buckets, man. Giving up too many buckets.
Free buckets.
Free buckets. Speaking of free buckets, listen. As much as you like Frank's defense tonight, I'm not gonna put this game on him, but you got to make your wide open buckets.
He needed that.
Man.
Yeah, we needed him to hit that, and. I think it was the homie Alex in the everyone knows Alex. We know Alex. He tweeted it out, or somebody tweeted it out saying that there was a possession when that very rough possession where Marcus Morris towards the end of the game, feeling himself, goes to the basket, misses the layup, and then we gave the ball up, and then they had another opportunity to score. We saw Frank Ntilikina wide open again. And I feel like, if anything, that should have been the opportunity for him to get that shot and try it again. And you missed the one. okay, we get it. But if he misses 2 in a row, to me, that would have been a bigger deal than anything, because we know what Frank Ntilikina is at this point. He has to make that shot.
Got to make it.
But at the same time, we can't fault this game because of that, because a lot of the reason why we came back in the game had to do with him on the defensive end as well.
True story.
But
True story.
He has to make that shot.
True. You have to. The corner shot. Three, it's the easiest three in the game. He's got to make those, and he had a couple wide open buckets that you got to make. But again, we won't put it on him.
Right.
You know, I thought a big turning point of this game was the fact that in the first half, in particular the second quarter, our bench really outplayed theirs. Our bench, 100%. It was Dotson. Give credit, DSJ came back and played well. Ellington gave us some good minutes on both ends, I thought. Defensively, I thought he gave a much better effort. And our bench was much more solid in the first half. Second half, give the Nets credit. They had a lineup of, I hate to say his name, but Shumpert. They brought Shumpert out of retirement for his revenge game. They had Shumpert, Musa, Jordan, Pinson. I love it. I always say Pinhead with Pinson. And they had somebody else out there. But give credit, their defense on our second unit in the second half was big, and that kind of kept us at bay in terms of trying to mount the comeback.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it kept the fire down, because at the end of the day, we did still end up coming back. But yeah, if it was the way that we looked in the first half, we probably could have pulled up and had a little bit of a lead. Yeah. But like you said, their defense were able to slow us down a little bit, keeping us, like, we tied the game, but keeping us near throughout the rest of the game. But yeah, it hurts to say, and that's the reason why our boy Mon Shumpert even closed out the game, because of his defense and doing what we all know for him to do is he, plays that same. I wouldn't say same. I think I'm gonna give a little edge to Frank, but he plays that pesky defense, and that leads to these guys taking the same shots we were just talking about rather than going to the basket, because his hands are everywhere and you can't dribble when somebody's hands are all over the place. And a lot of the guys did that to close out the game for the Brooklyn Nets. So we can hate all we want, but like CP started off this whole thing saying, they were missing key players, and a lot of those guys came out and they outplayed us, and we can't let that happen. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. We were missing RJ Barrett, and as key as RJ has been, we got a lot of veterans on this team, and we weren't able to capitalize on a team that was weak, and that hurts us, especially being the team that they are, the Brooklyn Nets.
Facts.
So
it hurts, man. It hurts
a lot, man. A lot.
You got to get these victories, man, and it's just another game at home where we start off slow. And here's my thing. Again, I hate to nitpick on the coach because he's had a tough year, but you got to criticize where it's due and question where it's due. To me, with the starting lineup, you don't have RJ. The Kevin Knox thing, again, makes no sense. And when he made that comment, in the offseason, when he was talking about big lineups, and he was like, yeah, we may even go Kev at the 2, I was like, that sounds a little crazy. But he also wanted to give Frank some minutes at the 4 last year, and I think he did in a small sample. So once again, we have Kev at the 2. He's already struggling on both ends in his last 5 or so games. Why would you? We already off to slow starts. Why would you put him in that position when we're desperate for a win and we got to get him as best in his comfort zone as possible? To me, that just made no sense. No sense.
Yeah, because Dinwiddie was firing all over him in that first quarter and just making the poor kid look so bad. It just doesn't make any sense, especially like the number one thing Fizdale has been telling us and trying to put in our brains, that you eat what you kill. And Knox is my guy, but let's be real, for the past, like you said, 5-6 games, Knox has not been playing well, but he's starting today at the 2 when possibly that should have gone to maybe a Dotson, maybe even
Ellington,
Ellington. You know what I'm saying? It just made no sense from top to bottom. And like you said, a lot of people are getting nitpicky, and most of it might be warranted. A lot of the blame going to Fizdale, but tonight was not a great coaching effort from David Fizdale at all.
It makes no sense to me. Makes no sense to me. The kid is struggling, and you're going to put him in a position that he cannot succeed in. Yeah. Second of all, my problem with Kev starting is it's the fact that the problem with Frank is that he's not going to come and be a bona fide facilitator every night. And that's my problem with the offense. My problem with the offense is too many times you're not seeing him penetrate the defense, get into the teeth of the defense, create easier shots when we're struggling to shoot. A lot of the times he's coming over the half court. And again, I don't know if this is his tendencies or if this is the plays that Fizz is calling. But he's coming over the half court, immediately gives it up. Gives it to Morris, gives it to Randall. You know what I mean? DSJ did a little bit better of a job getting that dribble penetration going. But when we don't get that, the offense stagnates. Then you have Julius and Morris trying to create for themselves, play hero ball, and so on and so forth. And so with the ineffectiveness with Frank in terms of just being a consistent facilitator, I thought you should have went Dotson to start, and I think you should have closed with Frank and DSJ because DSJ was doing a decent job getting into the defense in his minutes off the bench.
100% agree. To comment on the Frank thing, I do think it is tendency, and the problem is we don't have the personnel for that tendency because the tendency with that, and a lot of people see it as weak, but what it is that's how you get the ball started, like the movement started. Right. You instantly get the ball up at half. The ball is supposed to keep fizzing, but the problem is we got guys like Marcus Morris or Julius Randle. So that ball goes to a Marcus Morris, the ball is held, and then the motion's over, and then Frank goes to the corner, and then we all think, Frank, you should have done da-da-da-da. I think it's more of a tendency. It's a French thing. A lot of the French guys like that. You see them play, the ball is moving. Like, it doesn't matter who it is. That ball is moving all over the place. And that's just the Frank Ntilikina type of thing.
Yeah, that's his tendency, man.
Yeah. And unfortunately, we just don't have the personnel for that because we got a bunch of dudes that want to be the hero.
Yeah, them dudes ain't moving the ball like that. You can forget it.
We don't have that rotation.
You can forget it, man.
That's what I'm saying. Like, anyways, but to go back to what you said about closing, that is exactly what I was thinking. And for me to be over here talking about DSJ needing me closing the game next to Frank, that's saying a lot because, like you said, not only was DSJ hitting, like shooting or at least being a little bit more aggressive tonight on the offensive side, on the defensive side, he was looking pretty solid. And you got to ride that because we want a confident Dan Smith Jr. And tonight was one of those nights where it's like, you could probably play them next to each other because, yes, Frank's shot wasn't hidden, but Dan Smith Jr. was being just as aggressive. So closing with them at the same time would have been something that could have helped us out.
You've got to run smaller, and this is the problem with the force feeding of Julius. Number one, there's no accountability for him, and that's another thing with Fizz. A coach like Greg Popovich, he's gonna hold these players accountable. You saw last night, not last night, night before that, Bulls benched Zach LaVine got benched. Got benched in the fourth quarter because his coach said he was not playing good enough defense. Okay, there has to be accountability. Tonight's closers, it should have been, I would have went Frank, DSJ, either Dotson or Ellington, Morris, and Taj. Morris has got it going. I would have went Taj for the defense. You got to hold Julius a little bit more accountable, but the politics is just preventing us from doing that.
I think a lot of people are missing that part. It's literally just strictly the politics as to why he's even starting and why he's not closing. But at the same time, if we want to win and if we want to have these moments where we have Steve Mills and Perry coming out and saying these things, then Fizz needs to be like, all right, then. Well, my guy, your guy that you paid isn't playing. I'm benching him. And he's got to be held accountable. He's got to be held accountable. And I 100% agree with that finishing five. I think I would have done Ellington because Ellington was hot. He was probably one of the main reasons why we came back in that game along with Mook. Accountability has got to be the biggest thing, but it's just I know Fizz is too scared to do it.
Too scared. They're too scared to do it. Another thing on the accountability standpoint, listen, that's my favorite player on the team, but Mitch, my two goals for Mitch this season has been durability and discipline. Hasn't been durable, and tonight he was way out in left field on the discipline angle. I mean, he had one on time, like stupid foul on Shumpert, just throwing Shumpert around, just stupid ticky-tack, nonsense fouls that we didn't need. And Mitch cost us. Mitch cost us part of the game. You got to keep your head in the game. Ends up getting a technical foul at the end when he fouls out. Now, I think a lot of that was the refs, picking on him. He's a young player. The refs trying to teach him a lesson, but you got to be smarter than that, man. And you saw Taj trying to teach him, you got to be smarter than that if you're Mitch.
Discipline's big. I mean, obviously, durability, 100%. It feels like every game he's hobbling on something. Still ends up getting an alley-oop off of it, but he's hobbling, doing something. But discipline, and what game are we on now? 16, 15? I don't know what game
17.
we're on, maybe 17. And I feel like that has been something that has not been improving. It's frustrating because they're always 75% of his fouls are stupid fouls where, he simply needs to just be his size, use his length, but he's jumping on pump fakes. He's doing intentional shoves against like Amon Shumpert or something like that. Those are the kind of things that just gets me so frustrated about who Mitch can actually be and what he's stopping himself. He's stopping himself from taking that next step because a lot of us were ready for him to be playing 25 minutes, 26 minutes, and, averaging 4 blocks a game. But because of himself, he's only at the 15-minute mark, 16-minute mark some nights.
It's not good. It's not good. So that's on Fizz as well to hold these guys accountable. And listen, like I said, man, when you struggle to score, when you can't hit free throw, when you can't even buy a free throw, and you can't defend the 3-point line as well, you struggle to defend in key moments. That's why you're a 4-13 team. They have a grueling schedule coming up. The next 5 games. You have Toronto, you have Philly, you have Milwaukee Bucks. What Fizdale say in his post game? He said, "I can't wait."
I can't wait.
In Bart Scott voice, he said, "I can't wait." Well,
Bart, I can't wait.
Yeah. Hey,
Bart Scott.
Be careful what you wish for, man.
I'm saying, man, you survive it.
Yeah,
it's like that's what you should be worried about more than anything.
Gotta try to survive it, man. I think, look, like I said, at this point, this is spiraling. It's gonna get bad pretty quick. I mean, it already is bad, but it's gonna get pretty terrible. I think the one thing you could look at if you're looking at it from a holistic view is Marcus Morris is up in his trade value. December 15th it can't come soon enough. Obviously, I love him as a player, but I'm trying to get back into this first round as we approach the draft. And obviously, we need a point guard in the lottery. We got to start thinking about assets, man. And that's one thing. He's having a career year, and you got to hope that you can get back into the first round by trading him December 15th.
I 100% agree with that. And that's the thing. Everybody, it's fun and hilarious and all those kind of things to say we got to trade Randall, but again, politics, that's not going to happen.
Never.
And unfortunately, as much as you want to keep him because of how well he's playing, then the possibility of him maybe being a good piece for us on the bench as a veteran, but exactly like you just said, we got to sell high, and that's the only bet we have to get a pick to at least make this very, very bad start to a season, possibly end to a season, at least get some kind of silver lining out of it, and possibly getting another pick in this draft so we can boost up everything that we need, because as much as we love Frank and stuff like that, we do need a solidified point guard.
Need a bona fide point guard, man.
Yeah, and this draft has a lot of those guys in it, especially if we stay within 10. And we got to start thinking.
Need a bona fide point guard. The it's just too much of a struggle to get a decent shot, to even just get a layup. You know what I mean? Just get a driving bucket. You look on the other end, every other point guard is just in and out, weaving in and out of the lane. Dinwiddie, he's not even a true point guard. He's more of a tweener.
Right.
Weaving in and out of the lane, doing whatever he wants to do. We got to get some stability there. But that's the story, man.